Welcome to Life's Hidden Curriculum, a podcast designed for Philadelphia teens and young adults that helps connect them to resources and information needed for adulthood. My name is Quan King, and I'm your host and curator of this content intended to get you the info and understanding necessary to make informed and smart decisions. You can find even more information on the website, lifeshiddencurriculum.com. And now, today's episode. I want to take a moment really quick and let you know that the content you're about to hear has been generated by Andrew and Izzy, AI. As such, it's always important to make sure you verify information that you get from any source, no matter how legit it sounds. I've listed all my resources and references in the archive on the website at lifeshiddencurriculum.com, so you can do your own due diligence, aka research. If you like any of these topics and want me to go into greater detail, hit me up in the comment section or send a message on the website using the contact link. All good? All right, here we go.
Okay, so today we're doing a deep dive into something really foundational, the GI Bill's VA Home Loan Program back in 1944.
Right, the Servicemen's Readjustment Act. And its goal was, well, pretty massive. Stop a post-war depression.
Exactly. Huge financial transfers, education, housing subsidies. But the housing part, its impact is just staggering.
It really is. I mean, think about this. Economic analysis suggests that somewhere between, say, 10 to 15% of current American households can trace their financial base back to a VA-backed home purchase.
10 to 15%. That basically built the modern middle class, didn't it?
It's hard to argue otherwise. You'd struggle to find another single policy with that kind of economic footprint.
So how did it work? What was the magic ingredient?
Well, the absolute standout, the game changer, was getting rid of the down payment.
No down payment needed.
None. The federal government guaranteed the loan. Before that, you needed this, huge chunk of cash up front. Most working class folks just couldn't manage it.
So that zero down feature just opened the door.
Completely. It let veterans buy homes and start building equity years faster than civilians could.
Okay, but was it just the zero down policy, or was it also, the timing, catching that huge post-war housing boom?
It was definitely both, but the policy gave it velocity, right? Getting in early during that boom, that maximized the asset growth.
Right.
And we have data on this. Veteran housing benefits account for something like 10% of the entire increase in U.S. homeownership between 1940 and 1960.
Wow.
And the sheer scale, over 25 million home loans backed since 44, it adds up to an estimated, $3.9 trillion pumped into the U.S. economy.
Okay, undeniable scale, undeniable impact. But there's a huge but here, isn't there?
There is a profound one. While all this wealth was being created, the policy itself, it ran into a major structural flaw in how it was rolled out.
The law itself was written to be race neutral.
On paper, yes, but it was implemented locally. And that meant Jim Crow laws, redlining practices. They effectively channeled this boom almost entirely into white wealth creation.
So the reality on the ground was completely different from the text of the law.
Tragically different. There's this stark example from New York and northern New Jersey. Out of 67,000 homes bought there with the GI Bill.
How many went to non-white families?
Just 100?
100. Out of 67,000.
That's staggering. Black veterans were just systematically shut out, or they faced impossible conditions that the law was meant to erase.
And denying access like that, right at the start of this massive wealth creation event, the long-term damage is almost incalculable.
We can actually quantify some of it, depressingly. Black veterans who did manage to get benefits, they received, on average, only about 40% of the value that white veterans got.
40%.
Yeah, and that difference compounded. It meant white veteran families ended up holding, on average, something like 32 times the wealth of black veteran families coming out of that period.
32 times. And that connects directly to the wealth gap we still see.
Directly. It's a major contributor to that persistent, roughly 10-to-1 racial wealth ratio we grapple with today. That initial denial of capital just echoes through generations.
And that legacy, that gap, it's still very much with us. The homeownership difference between non-Hispanic white Americans and black Americans is still huge, right?
It is about 27.9 percentage points currently. It's a massive gap.
But is the VA loan program today helping at all? Is it functioning differently now?
Actually, yes, that's one of the sort of positive twists here. The modern VA loan, with its favorable terms, is proving to be a pretty effective tool, especially for female veterans and veterans of color. It's helping them close that ownership gap now.
So it's working more like it was maybe intended to for more people.
In many ways, yes. It's allowing them to get that foothold in home ownership sooner.
Okay, but there's still a problem, right? People aren't even aware they can use this.
That's a big hurdle now, yeah. Awareness. Only about a third of current service members even know they might be eligible for a zero-down VA loan.
A third. So there are potentially billions in loan volume just sitting there, untapped.
Exactly. Billions that could be building that generational stability right now.
So it's this weird legacy then, created maybe 10, 15% of all American household wealth,
Mm-hmm. An unparalleled success in that sense.
but simultaneously baked in this huge racial wealth disparity because, over 90% of that initial wave of wealth went to white families?
That's the dual reality. Success and structural failure side by side.
Which brings us to, what now?
Hmm.
There's talk about fixing the past harm, right? Legislation.
There is. You have things like the Isaac Woodard Jr. and Joseph H. Maddox GI Bill Restoration Act, proposed in 2021.
And what would that do?
Essentially, it tries to offer a path for descendants of those Black veterans who were wrongly excluded back then, allow them to access housing and education benefits their families were denied.
So it directly confronts that generational loss of wealth.
It does. It forces you, the listener really, to think about what restitution even looks like when wealth is denied and built across decades because of how a policy was implemented.
Thanks for listening to another episode on Life's Hidden Curriculum podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube as we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you like this content and want to support, head over to the website, lifeshiddencurriculum.com, and click donate. Also, I'm always looking for guests to share their stories, especially if it can help the next generation. Hit me up using the contact link. Thanks again, and stay tuned for more.